All right, boom. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, B-Fam Podcast. And as always, thank you for giving me your time. Today I'm here with
Quanda Graves.
And give us a little background on you. What's your elevator pitch? What's your introduction?
Oh, that's pretty good. So my name is Quanda, middle initial R, last name Graves, but I'm also known as author and poet and businesswoman until I own a business called QS Simple Treasures and Greetings LLC, which simply means I'm just a poet with products.
Wow.
Right? So QS Simple Treasures and Greetings is just me doing uplifting and encouraging and inspiring and motivating through any creative medium I see fit.
Yeah.
Plus, it's a part of the writer's lifestyle. So I love to write. I love greeting cards. I love paper, pens, all of that kind of stuff. So it's really like my own world. I'm creating kind of like my own hallmark.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
So that is who I am.
So how did you get into this, the poems and writing and reading and stuff?
Well, that's kind of a long story, but we'll summarize it. I have always loved writing.
Yeah.
From elementary school, my mother kept all of my report cards, and if you read them all, they basically say the same thing by different teachers. It's like she loves to write. She has a knack for writing, a gift for writing, talks too much, but also...
Yeah, that's one I got to learn.
Yeah, talks too much, but and then has a compassion for others.
Yeah.
So writing has been something that I love, and what sparked it was, you're young enough to have this. You remember when they had book fairs at school?
Yes, I remember. Oh,
so my mother gave me money, and that was the first time I got to attend the first book fair at the elementary school. And I came across this book called Round the Corner by the Bank Street Reader Group.
Wow.
And that book, I would say it actually changed my life. I still have the book to this day. Mm-hmm. And it was the first book. I had Mary Poppins and Mother Goose and all these books, right? Mm-hmm. But this was the first book that ever was comprising of short stories, poems, little pieces, little essays, little like pieces of notes and stuff like that. And I was like, oh my God. And I was 6. Mm-hmm. And I was like, when I grow up, I'm going to do a book like this. Yeah. Right. And I knew that writing was my thing.
Yeah.
Then as I got older, I did actually create a book like that, but it was a children's book. I never published it, but I still have it. Right. And it's still a mixture of everything.
Okay.
But because I was older, I was able to add a couple of attributes that book didn't have. But that has still been my inspiration to this day. So then when I finally decided to first publish, which was in 2014, of my book, I Just Want to Write, this book, I did it the same format. Essays, food for thought pieces, poems that go with each essays, you know, little notes, something to take with you. Mm-hmm. And it's written in 3 transitions. The first one is just telling you who I am, how I got started. Mm-hmm. The second was about like how I felt like a late bloomer. Mm-hmm. Because you know how you're doing something, it's all about you in a way in your head, right? But I didn't know that there were other poets. I didn't know anything about that. And so when I started entering into the poetry world, I felt like I was such a late bloomer because everybody knew all this stuff and I didn't. Yeah. I just really knew poetry from my heart. Mm-hmm. In school, you know, they give you little bits and pieces, but I've been writing poetry since I was like 10, right? Right. So, and then the third one is all about wordplay and fun. Like the pen and pencil are having the pen and paper are having conversations with each other. The paper writes a poem about herself to introduce herself to people and how she feels about herself. Yeah. Things of that nature.
Okay, so, that's beautiful.
And then I was a rapper at one point.
Wow.
Loved it, but the religious part of my mother, she kept me from like really just pursuing it, and I was like this close.
Yeah, I get it.
But no, poetry went over. Writing poetry, and now I'm a like journalist and for the California Crusader newspaper. I write poetry, I write essays. I won an essay contest like in 2020 because I finally got a chance to do that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. So that's really how it all emerged.
That's beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
No problem. And how do you use these poems and stuff to express your emotions through the pen and paper?
Oh, without pen and paper, let's just say I can't breathe.
I get it.
That is... To put things on paper for me is for me to review, to see what I've done, to see myself. Yeah. So I can see what I've done, how I can become a better person, how I even approach the situation. I know next time to approach it better. Yeah. Like I can put things into words for myself that really does analyze me. Mm-hmm. I can see myself. It's almost like mirroring myself.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I use writing a lot for reflection, like you were saying. And
you have to reflect. I mean, if you have
always.
any kind of conscience and you care about being like a viable, beautiful, wonderful human being that's trying to be upstanding, and I say trying because there's everything in the world trying to make you not that, right? Just like you'll get caught up in situations and it makes it seem like you are not that person, but that situation does not define you. It's everything up until and then how you bounce back from that situation.
Right.
That's what writing does for me in every aspect.
That's beautiful. Cause, and another thing about writing for me is, it makes you immortal.
Yes!
Because once you write
I talk about that in here. I say that writing is immortal because when you're gone, this is left long after.
It can't go anywhere.
No, you live forever.
Right. That's the only way to become immortal. And that's why I made this podcast, so I can become immortal.
That's right.
In my own way. And I think a lot of people get scared at the fact that if they pick up the pen and paper, they're going to say, oh, well, I don't know what to write. But really, it's no proper structure to writing. And you should just
that comes later,
just
right?
put it down and just let it flow.
That's
and then it'll structure itself. The pen to write whatever it wants.
You want to.
The more you think about it is the harder that it gets. But the more that you just go and go and go, it progressively gets better.
There's a poem in there called Drunken Spill.
Do you know about her?
Do I know about her? When I refill my pen with ink, I'm allowing it to drink. And every now and then, my pen gets drunk off the ink and stagger and stumble all over the sheet and throw up my sensitive feels, my emotional ills, my sickly, soulful, drunken spills, which gives a voice to the page to speak. Drunken Spill.
That was beautiful.
Thank you. I messed up around the end, but because I hadn't done it in a long time. But Drunken Spill, that's what it does.
That's like relatable if anybody wants to replay it and re-listen to it. But that's just beautiful. It gets everything out of you, and I feel like using pen and paper as a means of expression is way easier than talking to people. Because some people, they're afraid to talk or get their feelings out to another human being. But if you think about it, you are another human being within yourself. So writing it down is basically talking to yourself, getting it out. I feel like as long as we get out the negative insides, then we'll be fine. We don't always have to express it to somebody else or have it validated by somebody else. We can validate our own feelings.
Actually, that's how I started. When I would be, like, if our families was arguing and everything, and I wasn't allowed really to speak, I started writing notes and letters and leaving them around the house for them to find. And that's another poem in here called "How Do I Begin?" And it steps by step. Like my family is seeing the letter, like, who wrote this? And then they're like, oh, it's Quanda. Like, and that was the beginning of my voice being on paper first before I was becoming very vocal. So
yeah, and it's like where were we?
You were just talking about getting it out.
You have to have getting like it out. Yeah, and just that's one of the best things possible
in the world.
Yeah, and
you feel so freeing.
Yeah, and it's easy. You get this weight that's lifted off of you.
Oh my God! And if you use it right, that's exactly how you feel.
And you feel free. Yes, free spirited, and it correlates directly with reading. Reading and writing are two of the most important things that we can ever do. And
Austin, I wish I could get people to appreciate it and understand it the way you're saying it right now. It really is important.
Yeah, and it seems boring at first, but that's because when you read, you're using your brain, which is a muscle. And once you work that muscle, it gets tired, so you'll get tired. But the more consistent you stay at reading, you don't have to read a book in a week.
No.
You can try a book in a month, a book in 2 months. But as long as you're going through and chopping away at it, it'll get finished. So 5 to 10 pages a day is all you need, just to have your brain working in that way. And that's how I was talking about with Dr. Stephanie, the neurological pathways that you can rebuild and build. Because once you turn a certain age, I want to say it's an age between 25 and 30. It's harder to build these neurological pathways.
Also, too, it has a lot to do with habits. Too,
I'm
right?
listening. Go ahead.
Yeah, it has a lot to do with habits, right? Like you get lazy, you don't want to, right? And then when you get around like 25, 30, even after that, pushing yourself is a little different if you don't have a goal or a purpose that you're trying to. So you don't build the muscle because you have bad habits and you don't want to do this kind of stuff.
And then you say, "Oh, I'm grown, so I don't have to."
Exactly.
I'm grown.
You lean on the "I'm grown." Yes.
I'm too old for that. I don't need anybody's permission.
I don't care. I don't like to read like that.
Right.
Because I'm not a voracious reader and chapters kill me.
Yeah.
I cannot. that whole chapter 1 and chapter, I'm like, oh Lord, when are you ever done? This book, I promise you, it doesn't have any chapters.
That's beautiful.
But when you go on Amazon and you read the reviews, they'll say it has great flow.
Mm-hmm.
Because I wanted the book to just flow on through. I didn't want no chapter 1. This ain't no chapter 2.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
and you could just pick it up and put it down whenever you would.
That's
beautiful. So, let's dive deeper into the purpose part. What do you feel like your purpose is? I know it's reading and writing, but how did you discover that outside of just being able to do it? What made you say, well, this is something that I want to focus on primarily, and I feel like without it, I'm just nobody?
Well, actually, I never felt like I was just nobody.
Right.
For some reason, I always felt like I was someone.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it comes from the self-esteem that I was raised with.
Mm-hmm.
So I always knew that even if I'm not something big in the world, I'm something in the world.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't necessarily, I always felt like writing was my purpose, right? Writing is my purpose. Writing is my purpose. And I still feel that way.
Mm-hmm.
But as I've grown, I understand that we can have more than one purpose. A lot of people get stuck on one.
One trick ponies.
Yes, exactly. And what I've learned is that, this sounds kind of crazy saying it out of my mouth, but to my understanding, one of my purposes is being there for my friends and my people and family and just people in general and to bring joy.
Right.
Because apparently I'm like really funny and I don't know that. So I think my purpose is just being me and letting the Lord use that however he chooses, which is bringing joy, bringing happiness, and providing encouragement. I want people to always be encouraged when they come across me. I want to be positively contagious at every way, shape, or form in any way possible.
Yes.
That's my thing.
Yeah, and then the religious part. How do you use religion in your everyday life?
Well, not necessarily religion. Okay, so my background is Christianity.
Okay, I'm listening.
Pentecostal, right? But really, to be honest, the way my mother has raised me is spending time with the Lord.
Right.
I just spend time with him. And people say, how do you do that? I pray a lot. I read my Bible a lot. Does this mean I'm a perfect human being? No, because I have things that I need to work on, and I have things that I am a constant work in progress on.
Constantly
improving.
Right.
But as far as that, how that is used in my everyday life, the Lord uplifts me in my spirit, which allows me to be my better self, which allows me to output all of the positive energy that I have in me. So when I come across anybody, they can always say that they had a pleasant experience. I'm not saying I'm not a villain in somebody's story because situations do occur. But for the most part, at Marshall, I won the Luminary Award.
Go into that. What's that?
That is somebody who uplifts and encourages people.
Okay, keep going. But I got an award like that from school. I was gonna wear the pendant.
Oh my God!
At graduation, I got the leadership award for the school.
Nice.
Yeah, and then
congratulations.
Thank you so
You're
much.
welcome.
And like in the middle, it was a Contemplative in Action Award.
Oh wow!
And basically, it was an award that was stating someone who's able to produce in sports, academics, and then just be an overall.
Give a high five, man.
Thank you. It could just be an overall great person without the school and build a connection with faculty and staff among the students.
Austin, that's beautiful.
Yeah. So yeah, keep going into your award.
Yeah, so it was. I wasn't expecting it. I work here. You know what I mean? I wasn't expecting it at all. And people were like, because it came with a monetary gift. Yeah. Right. And I actually wrote like a small disquisition on LinkedIn about it, because I was very shocked. I actually received that award when I was in the hospital taking care of a family member. Okay. And so one of my friends texted me, one of my closest friends, Tonisha. She hit me up and she was like, "Hey, so all of a sudden you're not around when somebody's trying to give you." I was like, what's happening? I didn't know what's happening. So I checked in my email and I'm like, oh my God, my peers see me this way. I was floored. Yeah. And I was more floored at how they saw me than me getting the monetary gift and the plaque. Does that make sense? I'm appreciative and I'm grateful. I get that. But I'm just saying wow, that's how y'all see me? I'm so grateful. Because
we don't know.
No, and then isn't it a joy that what's one of my biggest joy, Austin, you want to know?
I want to know.
That you work hard to be, to convey who you really are. and you're seen for who you really are.
Yes.
There is no misunderstandings. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So people know that you're genuine. They know exactly who you are. And so that just floored me to the point where I had to write like this little small essay about it. Like letting people know you don't have to be anybody else.
But
just
yourself.
be you.
And that
someone will see you.
The good and bad.
And bad. It does.
It
but embrace
flows.
it though.
Yeah. And it's like things we don't really grasp in our head is that people see us different than we see ourselves, regardless of how we perceive everything going on.
Exactly.
So we can have a good character, but we can be going through a bad time in our life.
Oh my God.
And people will think that people are seeing us as this bad person. We're so bad spirited because we feel down, but really they looking at you like, come on, champ.
Yeah.
You know, how can we help? How can we help? Because we're so used to seeing you have this good character, this uplifted spirit. What can we give you to help?
They can't take it when we down, huh?
You know what I'm saying?
They be like, what's wrong?
Yeah,
you ever seen that?
Yeah.
Like, you ever come there somewhere and they be like, Austin, what's wrong?
Yeah.
Why you not smiling?
You
usually you upbeat. What can we do? Who we gonna beat up? Like, no, you can't beat up people. Like, you know what I mean?
But yeah, and it feels good to feel cared for. And I know a lot of people, they sometimes struggle with feeling cared for.
Yes.
People can show it. People can express it, but until we actually feel it, it kind of means nothing.
Nothing. It's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
And as much as I hate to say that like that, it's true.
Yeah, it's
and
true.
the best way we can go about it is really, I feel like it's, instead of writing someone, I feel like it's way better texting. Writing is really good, but hearing it from somebody's voice is what really gets the message across.
Yes,
for real.
I stay tangible for that reason. These are tangible items for that reason.
Yeah.
It's important for me, but I also think it's important to stay grounded in yourself, to believe in yourself, to be confident in yourself, because there are times and there will be moments in the world where you'll feel beaten down by people. Because you'll come across people who, you know, you kind of irritate their demons, or you kind of irritate them because they see something in you that they wish that they could be or do, and they haven't grown there yet, right? But you have, and that's not your fault. But some people will make you feel a type of way about being who you are and what you're doing, and you have to understand that you have to know who you are to not let that affect you. We're human, of course, it's gonna make you feel a certain way a little bit, but swallow that and get over it, because you are you, and there's a purpose for you here. That's what you're supposed to do, and whatever you're doing, regardless if that person see it or not, or whatever they don't like, it doesn't matter. It's gotten you this far.
And one thing is, we got to look at these people, and instead of noticing it and kind of pushing them off to the side, ignoring the haters, we got to take those people and uplift them as well, because
I pray for them.
Yeah, and as much as they kind of look down on us, they also looking up to us in a way.
True.
It's a certain
confused
aspect of
admiration.
Yeah, that's what it is, and it's like we have to be aware of ourselves enough to know if that person's energy, is it really bringing us down, or is it something I could give that person to help them? Because once you help somebody, it's kind of hard to hate you at that point.
True. If they want to be helped.
Yeah, if they want to be helped.
If they want to be helped.
Yeah, if they want to be helped.
Some people, I'm going to be honest, sometimes that's just a person's purpose.
Yeah. Some people don't want to be helped.
Some people want to be a hater,
But as much as you can help, just do your best. And then once you do your best to try to help that person, if they still don't accept it, then that's when you should move on. We shouldn't just push them off to the side, because that breaks them down a little bit more. So if you can uplift them, but
that's a beautiful way to see it.
I can't take you.
It's true.
You can take the horse to the water, but
you can't make no drinks. I can finish that. You know what I mean? But you know what I do a lot of times? I was just talking to my husband about this. Discernment is really important.
What's discernment?
Discernment is when you talk to the Lord, He increases in you that when a person walks up to you, Austin, you'll know right away if this is a person you should be dealing with or you shouldn't. The more you pray, the more you spend time with Him. That's how you'll know. And a lot of time we don't spend that time. So therefore, that's how you get confused. People like, oh, I thought that was a real person. I thought they were really cool. I thought they really meant me well. But had you been spending time to increase your discernment, your greater judgment, then you would have known. You know, you can't win them all, of course, but for the most part, you can dodge a lot.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So
when you ask how my spirituality and religion hits that is what that is. I've spent so much time with Him that now I I don't engage in a lot of things that I used to, or people that I used to, because when they step, I already know
where they going.
Right, I already know who they are, and so therefore I keep them at arm's length. I don't dismiss them. I don't treat them any different than I would treat anybody else. But I also know how to move around them, and that's because the Lord gave me the wisdom to be able to do that.
And being able to just read people.
Yes, reading is very important when you're reading books or people.
That's what I said. And the way you're gonna be able to read people is by reading books.
Yes,
people are out here and they get mad because they don't understand why all their friends are fake or why all the women they talk to is this. And everybody is that. And everybody's against them, but if you took the time to just pick up a book, any book, it don't have to be the books I read. It don't gotta be the books Miss Quanda read, but it can be any book that you are interested in. And once you pick up the messages involved in the books, through fiction or nonfiction, is the author is trying to convey a point in some way, shape, or form. So as long as you are able to pick up that style that the author is putting down and use it to look in your real life, you'll be able to read people more and more through the lens that you create from reading different types of books.
That's why my subjects too sometimes can be a little different. Like for I Just Want to Write, the theme of it is dreams, following your dreams. Do not place your dreams in the hand of somebody else and not stay connected.
Right.
Because people will be like, oh, well, Austin said he could do that for me. But did you ever check up with Austin? Did you ever follow up with Austin and see? And then now you're mad because he didn't do what he said he was going to do.
Right.
But you didn't stay connected to that. This your dream.
Yes.
You don't hand off your dream to someone else and then expect somebody to blow it up for you.
Right.
This is your dream.
Right. And people, I'm sorry to cut you off, but people push the narrative of network this, network that, connect this, connect that. But it's okay to know these people, but if you're not following up and staying consistent with them,
then how are they going to help you?
There's no way they can help you.
None.
And then you can't get mad because they're not going out their way because they have their own separate lives as well. So we got to be in tune with ourselves enough to know that, no, I'm not being annoying by staying in contact with this person. I'm staying in contact
because... You're being proactive.
Right.
Exactly.
I took the initiative to get to this person. Now it's up to me to build this connection. And then the stronger the connection gets, the less work you have to do for them to help you. But if I just met you on Monday and you expect me to do something for you by Wednesday, I don't really know you like that. So you got to stay on top of me. You got to stay on top of me so I know where to fall in place and where I can help you.
And understand if you mesh or not. Sometimes things don't go together, and that's okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Sometimes you don't align with what I'm doing, and that's fine.
Yeah.
Like for that in there, I talk about 3 different people, 3 different kinds of a person that are like. Some people I know, they just expect somebody to come and swoop them up and give it to them. Yeah. They don't want to do any work. Right? And then I have like other friends. I'd be like, well, I gave it to such and such and they didn't do anything. This your dream. He don't owe you anything. Right? And then we have the third person. That's me. I want what I want. You know what I mean? And I do the research for it.
Right.
And so a lot of times when I first started this was very different for me. It took 10 years for that first book just because life was happening. I'm a caregiver to a couple of people in my family. And then there wasn't a lot of money. So I had to learn how to make things work, right? But in the meanwhile, I'm doing like research. And then when I did research on everything that I needed, I did a price sheet.
Right.
I started chopping it down.
Okay.
Everything that I needed. Yeah. Chopping it down. Then next thing you know, I was already here. And then next thing you know, it was time to publish. So I was like, and then on top of that, I had to be creative, have a vision for my book cover. I had to write the book.
Yeah.
Like nobody's going to write it for, you can hire ghostwriters, but I'm a writer.
It's not the same. Like somebody can write this for me and push it out and my name on the book.
Exactly. Do you see this? That's what I'm saying. I'm a writer.
I want to be able to bask in my own glory, even if even if it don't blow up, even if the book don't blow up, even if the podcast don't blow up. I know it was me who started this.
You did it.
It is one by one. It's building on itself as it goes.
Which you're doing great, by the way.
Thank you so much.
I started listening to a couple of episodes and stuff. I'm getting there.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay.
I appreciate it. Yeah. So it's like, I'm like, okay, what can I start with? I had my iPad, so I'm like, boom, iPad got a microphone. I could record on it.
Let's do it. Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, the room was too loud, so let me go to a quieter room. Boom, found a quieter room. I got the new laptop, so boom, that's got a better microphone on it. Let me record on that. Then I'm like, damn, I actually kind of need a microphone. So let me invest in myself and get this microphone and take my time to learn how this works and piece this there and piece this there. And then I go, okay, the voice memos ain't working as good as they used to. I can do better on quality because I'm listening to the other podcasts. You gotta do your film.
Of course.
You gotta watch your film. So
because I actually have one.
Yeah, you gotta watch your film. So I'm like, okay, let me see what else I can do. So I do some research. Boom, I can get this app for free. They're not charging me nothing. Mm-hmm. All I got to do is learn how to use it. So
that's it.
Started with that, and it's building on itself and building on itself. And then I look back at what I did and say, it's not working as good as it should. Because I got these microphones that we're using right now, and I'm thinking they was hooked up to the computer, but they wasn't because I found out that Apple only used this, like, the way these audio jacks work is you got 2 prongs or you got 3 prongs.
Okay.
Apple only uses or registers headphones with microphones with the 3 prongs.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so when I was plugging it in with the 2 prongs, it was just reading his headphones. So really the thing wasn't working.
Oh, that's why he's like, I need to.
Yeah, so I figured that out this week and now we're using it. It should be working.
Nice.
But as I build on, the quality will get better and better. And then my office space had changed. I have my own building. Right now I'm using somebody else's building. I have my own building.
But people don't understand. If you just get started on whatever it is that you want to get started, sometimes it opens up way other doors, more opportunities, bring you more resources. Mm-hmm. You don't really know. And so I always tell people, just get started. Mm-hmm. Everything doesn't have to be perfect at the beginning. Just get started. And it's almost like chess blindness. Do you know what that is? No. Okay, so what it is like, I think I talked about this last episode. So chess blindness is these chess players looking at the board. But when people say it's chess not checkers, that means you're looking at multiple moves at once. So you're saying, okay, if he make this move, I'm going to make this move. If you don't make that move, I can make this move, this, and that. But they replaying this so much in their head, it can start to create this mental fog within them. And they'll like... And it blinds exactly what they're looking at. They'll go crazy and they don't know what they're looking at no more. And so I can relate that to people planning too much ahead. You know, you're looking too far in the future. Too far. I want to be here, 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 here. All right. We don't know if you can get there, because we don't know what doors are going to open on the way there. I'm glad you talked about that. Yeah. The reason why I'm glad you talked about that, I tell people, I said, you could be too inside your head. Mm-hmm. Right? And they was like, why you said that? I said, because I said, it's one thing to look for the future. Yes. Mm-hmm. Plan for it, but be in the now. Mm-hmm. Like, be in the now, be in the present. And just, even though you're planning and you may have a gift to plan so far ahead, but don't go over there. Right. Like, just stay here and then do your steps as you move. Yes. It's easier to grab the plays. Exactly. And run them. You got to be able to run the plays. It's the truth. Yeah, because think about it. Even in the sports world, anybody that's a sports fan, you a sports fan? I follow some sports here and there, like tennis. I'm a tennis person. Yeah, okay. So you can practice all you want all week, and you can practice this strategy, but everything changes when you get in the game. Because you don't know what they practicing either. You don't. So even probably in the NFL, they got this whole playbook dedicated to playing this team, but once you actually in the moment, things change. Mm-hmm. Not everything changed, but you got to be able to work on the fly. Yes. So if you're able to adjust on the fly, then life would be way smoother and you'll feel less frustration when things go wrong. Because a lot of people, they plan, they execute, and then boom, some go wrong. Yeah. So now they like, they're not used to the random. They can't improv. I didn't plan for this, is what they say. Yes. I didn't plan for this. It's true. This is something I didn't plan for. So now they down longer than they would have been if they was able to go on the fly. If they was just able to move fluidly. That's true. Yeah. It's true. Mm-hmm. And so, you say you were a rapper, so how has music influenced you throughout your life? Music is I want to hear about how you think about music. How does that affect you? Music is almost like writing for me. Mm-hmm. They are synonymous. They go hand in hand because I need music to write. Mm-hmm. Also, too, I'm a daydream girl. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of music that are connected to my daydreams and to dreams back in the day, like when I reminisce. Mm-hmm. So I love, like, music, like, to the fullest, though. Like all kinds of music. Dramas, all kinds of music. So. Yes. So even though rap and jazz are, like, my first and second, I'm a R&B. I love, like, oh, my God, like, I love all kinds of music, like, and then Elements, and I love opera music. I love all kinds of music, seriously. Mm-hmm. I'm the type where, I'll give you an example. There is, well, this is older now, because it was like maybe about 3 or 4 or 5 years ago. Mm-hmm. There was a commercial for a LG Signature refrigerator.
Okay.
The music is exquisite. I cannot tell you. I was so taken aback that I'm so glad we had the rewind feature, because I was like, babe, do you hear this? This is amazing, right? And I just couldn't get past it.
Right.
So I went on YouTube. Mm-hmm. And I typed in LG Signature commercial, like the music.
I'll do the same thing, yeah.
And a lot of people was inquiring about this music. And then they found it. And it was by this guy named Mark Revell. And the song was called Into the New, right? But on YouTube, it had the full version, not just that little tidbit. Mm-hmm. And I listened to it. It is the most exciting piece that I've come across in a long time. To the point where I reached out to him. I would love to interview you.
Yeah.
I was like, about this musical piece that you have in this commercial. And he was like, he responded.
Yeah, that's
I would love to I was like, are you serious? And he was like, yeah. So I actually contacted him. I sent him my questions. He responded to all of my questions, and I published it in the paper. People were like, this is so exciting. I was like, I loved it. Yeah. And that's how music inspires me. So I can hear, I even listen to certain scores in movies. Mm-hmm. I will pick out scores. Like, you know how they have certain songs in a movie, and I'm like, oh,
I gotta what get is that? Right
exactly.
I gotta get it.
Thank God for Shazam. Oh my God. Because I'll be like, who does this?
It's beautiful.
Yes, I get excited about any creativeness like that.
Yeah,
Austin,
any type
honestly.
of art, I get so excited when I see it. If it's drawing, if it's fashion, if it's music, if it's.
I'll give you another example. I was watching a movie and I saw. Are you familiar with? Have you come across Phyllis Wheatley at all?
That's an actor?
No.
That's a director?
No.
What is she?
Okay, so she's a poet. This is from back in the day, like in the 1800s, 1817, something like that. I have to remember. Mm-hmm. She was a slave. Okay. And, this white couple, they needed someone, this guy, he was married to his wife and they were slave owners. He wanted someone to keep company to his wife, while he was away. So he went and looked at the slaves and tried to find the most scrawniest little black girl that he could find. And he found her. Her name was Phyllis.
You know what this sounds like right quick?
What?
You ever read The Piano Lesson?
Yeah, a little bit.
This sounds like the
Yes,
piano
it does.
Okay, but
so they found her, right?
Uh-huh.
He took her home, and then his wife really grew, like, really fond of her, right? So she taught her how to read and write, and then eventually they gave her their last name, which is Wheatley.
Okay.
Because, slaves didn't have last names, right? They didn't have their own last names. So then what happened was she started writing all these beautiful poems, but they were like very intricate about like Christianity, because she was very like Christian. She believed in the Lord a lot, right? And they were very intelligent. So they emancipated her and let her go to school.
Wow.
So she published a book. You know that they said that she couldn't have wrote these poems. So there's a whole book on her trial because they wanted her to prove that she wrote these. Right. So anyway, that's who Phyllis Wheatley is, just to give you a little bit. But I saw the statue of her in a movie, and the movie was set out of Boston. And I was like, who did that statue? I didn't know that there was a statue of her, right? And I was like, I want to go to Boston and take a picture with the statue, right? So I inquired to find out who did it, and it was always about, so Boston had like a Commonwealth Women Memorial. Okay. Because there were 2 other statues with Phyllis Wheatley. I didn't know who the other 2 were. Mm-hmm. Abigail Adam or something like that. One of them is the second president of the United States wife. Okay. She was I think an abolitionist, where she was like, and there was one, another one. She was an orator. They both basically helped like without like getting rid of slavery and having women have better rights. Okay. So those were all those statues. Mm-hmm. So I reached out because I thought maybe it was 3 different people who did those statues. No.
Same person.
It was this lady named Meredith Bergman. A woman.
Wow.
She is a sculptor.
Yeah.
And apparently Boston put out this feeler for sculptors to come. And it was a grant. You had to apply for it to be able to do these sculptures. Yeah. And so they had like a contest for it. And then these 5 people beat it out, right? And Meredith was one. And then they had one more contest for this, and she won. It took 5 years to do that sculpture.
Wow.
I interviewed her, and I'm about to publish her interview next week.
Okay.
And she even showed me one that she's currently working on for another lady from back in the day who was all about women labor rights, called Claudia Francis, something like that. I need to figure it out.
Let her hear this.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
And I reached out to her, and she was willing to be interviewed. And I was just like, these are amazing people. I'm like you. I'm curious.
Yeah, but I just want to know.
And I want to know.
I
gotta know. And I reach out to find out, can I get this interview? Who are you? What's your name?
All you got to do is ask.
Yes.
That's all you got to do. And people be so scared of getting rejected.
Yes.
What's so bad about no?
Saying no.
What's up?
Well, if you say no, you say no. Try again.
Yeah, because even as a kid, that's something that my dad always tells me and my mom. They say, even when you was a kid, it'd be like, we'll tell you no, but somehow you knew as a 2-year-old
to go ask again.
To go ask again in 2 hours. You come back around the corner like, all right, can I get some juice?
It's true.
I just told you.
Yes.
You got to keep your brain working, and that's one thing I love to do is always find another way to get it done. Always find a way to get it done. Even if you don't have the resources right now, as long as you attempt to do something, even if it's like the craziest attempt. Like me, I went on Instagram and just started DMing celebrities. You know what I'm saying?
I do the same.
I just started DMing celebrities.
Look up Until TV. That is my YouTube channel. I have hit up so many people just by, and people were like, "Are you sure?" And the biggest one I had before I had to take a hiatus was I don't know if you ever heard of that TV show called The Big Bang Theory.
Yes.
Okay, so there's a lady by the name of Alice Amther. She plays one of the Rob's, I think, mother. Her name is Koothrappali.
She be yelling.
And she'd be on a computer and she'd be yelling. That's Alice Amther. She played in Man Apart, the movie.
Okay.
Where she shot the guy on the bench. Oh. But I got a chance to interview her, and she was getting my highlights. She was my highlight. And I wrote her. I did an interview. I went to her house actually, one of her friend's house, and I interviewed her in person.
Yeah.
And I did her interview. And when I wrote the story in the California Crusader newspaper, she saw it. I sent it to her, and she liked it so much that she added it to her IMDb page.
Right.
So I was shocked. That was another notch for me that I never even knew anything about in regard to journalism.
Mm-hmm. And people, once you shoot the shot, even if you know it's not gonna go in, the universe and God see that.
Yes.
You tried. You attempted.
You tried.
You knew you wasn't gonna be able to get a yes or even a reply, but you tried it. So it's gonna come at you
soon enough.
So many different ways.
Yeah,
so many different forms. It's gonna come to you, and that's just something I do. I'll sit in my room. I'm like, man, I want to grow this. I gotta grow it. How I'm gonna do it? I just gotta throw stuff out there.
You gotta get it.
Throw it out there.
I'm even throwing you names. You should contact Richard Hunt. I just got through interviewing him not too long ago.
Okay, just let me know.
Sculptor.
Oh, okay.
African American sculptor.
I gotta, because I just said today I needed more male people to interview.
He is 87.
Oh, I gotta get him soon.
Still sculpting.
Still.
He was commissioned by Barack Obama. They are fans of his. He's been a sculptor for a very long time. Started getting accolades in 1959 to now. He just also received the Lifetime Achievement Award.
Oh my God.
So he's a legend that's sitting in our face that we never even knew about. And I came across him by having a piece from a job that I used to work at.
Right.
They used to give free things out, hey, come to the warehouse, pay $5 to get in, take what you want type of thing. And people kept passing by this little box. And I was like, why people keep passing by this box? Mm-hmm. So I opened it, and it was this beautiful wood piece with bronze puzzle pieces in it. This is how it was sculptured. And it said Richard Hunt. But that was back in 2011 or 12. And I said, I'm going to interview this person one day. Didn't even know who he was.
Got it.
Fast forward to a couple years ago, I'm like, I want to know who this is, because we moved, and I was like, my husband was like, why you don't put this piece out? I was like, it's so elaborate and exquisite. What am I going to do? Mm-hmm. Our stuff is so casual. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I was like, who is this person? And I looked him up, and I was like, oh, my God. I'm going to.
Yeah.
And I shot my shot on Instagram.
Just shoot it.
On Instagram. That's it. And he said yes.
These are people that want their voices heard. They want to be out, and they want to be heard, and they want to help people. They don't care. We get too caught up in the fact that, they're a celebrity. Yeah, so they just want to talk to the people.
Exactly.
But no,
some don't do that.
Yeah, they just want to. Yeah, that's what some people don't even do the interviews with the other people,
celebrity journalists.
They won't do the big ones. They'll see you and be like, you know what, I want to talk to you, because they know that where you coming from is so humble and so such a
It's
so
true.
genuine.
A raw place.
Yeah. That they are compelled to want to talk to you even more.
Yeah.
Because why would I go to a celebrity journalist that already did so many celebrities? There's nothing unique about this interview anymore. But once I go to this person that hasn't really sparked yet, I can be the one that give them their way.
And we're the people that ask the different questions than the regular questions that they get.
All them prescriptive questions, yes. So bad.
Hey, you guys, I know you guys listening. Go to Until TV on YouTube. I have I'm telling you, the questions that I get complimented on questions because they're like, people ask me what kind of shampoo I wear. They was like, they don't ask me about my work. They get offended.
Yeah.
Because you're not caring about what they do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pay attention to them, and people just want to be paid attention to as a real person. Because again, jumping onto the celebrity way, once you get to a certain height, people don't treat you like you're a real person anymore. No, they feel like since you got so much of this and so much of that, they pocket watching that. They feel like, oh, you're just not one of us anymore. But these people, once they get to this stardom, the only thing that they really crave is to be treated like a
regular.
Again.
It's true.
They just want to be regular.
It is so true.
Yeah.
And they want regular conversation.
Yeah.
They don't want someone hyping them up all the time because they get it so much.
I already know my stuff is good.
Yeah.
I want to know about you. They want to hear about you
exactly.
now. They
Someone
want you
will talk to you and be like that. Like, oh, what you doing?
So
like, you know.
Even when I see celebrities around today, you know, because we live in LA, so it's easy to come by. I just say what's up. I mean, if I get a picture, I get a picture, but
Same here.
My initial reaction isn't to ask them for a picture because it's like, I got to think about their day from their perspective. Even if it's not true and they wouldn't mind giving a picture, I don't mind passing the picture up. And me and him always going to remember the experience.
Right.
The experience is going to be way more unforgettable to said celebrity.
That's true, but also you have to be somebody that's like not easy to forget. Like you're not easy to forget.
Thank you so
right?
much.
It's the smile.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, how you doing? And a lot of times the reason why that's not easy to forget is because a lot of people don't smile now.
They all just
you ever
looking
notice
at you.
that? They don't
Nobody looks
smile.
up.
People don't say hi.
I just talked about this the last episode.
Yes, people don't say hi. They're constantly like in their phone.
Yeah.
The eye contact is very different. And then the social impact or the social interact is very different.
And then once you talk to them, they look at you like you crazy.
Yeah.
Let me bounce this off you there.
All right.
In the last episode, I called it We Are AI. And you know how growing up, we always talked about like, oh my God, robots are going to take over this, and that. Mm-hmm. I was like, we are the robots. The robots already took over.
Yeah.
The phone is the robot. The robot don't got to be up.
We call it zombie land. Yeah. That's what we be calling it, zombie land.
It's not, the phone, the robots don't have to be dictators, like actual people, like we would like Terminator or something. Yeah, they don't gotta be that. It's already here, and the impact that it has had on us
swarmed us.
It's already so great that AI is already taking over. So now we battling against getting people to interact with people again. It's true. Like for real. Like it's easy to have a social media presence and be an influencer, but most of the time when you see those people in real life, they disconnected still. They are. Because they so caught up in the rapture of they followers and
computer world
analytics and stuff that they forget that they have these fans are real and they're not just generated likes, they're not just generated comments. These are real people.
It's true.
That you wanted this so you don't have to interact with everyone, but at least give an important interaction to the people that you can tell look up to you most. Just give them that little bit of encouragement. Unless they're a stalker, because then you kind of want to...
Exactly. Not unless they're a stalker. You do come across them.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
And you don't have to be a celebrity to have a stalker.
Yeah, so unless they're a stalker, you got to watch out for them people. But if they just somebody that really look up to you and you can be a role model, just be a role model. Yeah. Because what's the worst that can come from it?
But I also tell people, use your powers for good.
Yeah.
You know, when you see people going down that road, say, hey... I want to talk to you. I want to see your face.
How you doing?
Put your phone down.
Yeah, let me
I tell my kids that all the time. Like, hey, can you put your phone down?
Please.
Stop.
It's going to be there. Mm-hmm. It's not going anywhere. And
not going anywhere.
If it deletes, you never knew it was there anyway. Mm-hmm. Whether it stays or goes, if you're not looking at it, it really doesn't matter at all. Because once it's gone, it's gone.
It's gone.
And if it's there when you get back, it's there when you get back.
Yeah.
we are real, and
computer is snatching the tangibleness, snatching our compassion, snatching our awareness, snatching. It's just snatching these things, and we're allowing it to. Like, I'm like, you have to break free. Like, sometimes when I go home, I actually throw my phone somewhere else and walk away in another room.
Treat it like
like it's nothing.
Like it's that's. Oh, I thought I was the only person.
Nope, I do that because I'll be like, because I'll be on it all day. Have you ever been on the phone and then an hour pass by and you're like, oh my God, like no, I'm good. Yeah, and I just throw my phone.
I will throw it.
I got a case on it. I kid you not. I do the same thing. I don't have no case, but I'll throw it on the bed just like that.
Just toss it like that because your brain will register it as we don't really care for this as much.
Exactly. So you need to teach your brain how
to disconnect physically.
Yes.
Just as much as a mental, just as much as it is a mental connection, it's a physical connection as well. And the things that we treat with the most affection, we are most drawn to. So if you taking care of your phone so much, where's my phone? Where's that? Let me sit it down. I don't want it to crack. You drop, you say, oh my God, did it break? If you just driving to say,
my mom used to push me with this. She'll say, she still do it, but because I'm older, she knows that it's really impacted me. But it's like, don't love things way more than the Lord. That's what she'll say. She said, or he'll take it from you. He's a jealous God. Don't do that. I'm like, okay. Because you ever notice you care about something, the more you be like, oh, don't scratch my car. Big old scratch. Don't scratch this, you in a car accident. Oh, no, that's my favorite shirt. Now it's all torn on the side. You gotta understand what you're doing, what you're putting out in the universe, dude.
Man. I think I done lost a lot of clothes. I done lost a lot of clothes, and it's like, dang.
Yeah.
But once
because you're caring about it too much. But you ever notice the one that you throw, like your sweatshirt, you throw the most, you could care less. That you all the time in prestige shape too. You could have been throwing it all over the place, ran over it with your car by accident, your motorcycle. It's closed in the door, got dirt all on it, and then you wash it, and it's still like the same. This dude ain't lost color. It ain't lost no button. The string in the hoodie is still there. It looks better than all the rest. You was like, oh, don't touch it, don't do that. Man, I'm telling you, that's how the universe and the world works, dude. That is the one you treat like garbage. You be like, if you can hang it up all day, it don't be stretched. It's not messed up. I'm telling you.
And pull around you be like, you should still look kind of
like, you still got that? You got that in 88. Like,
I'm still
for real.
But that's how I go, and we gotta be able to detach from the attachment and just be able to connect. There's a difference between attachment and connection. Connection, think of it like, oh my God, this just came to my head right now. Think of attachment and connection as connection to be like a phone charger.
Okay.
You charge the phone, you plug it in, but it's easy to disconnect and the phone is charged.
So true.
Now, same principle, if you attach the charger to the phone and the phone is always on 100, eventually the battery life goes away.
Wait, it's true.
It goes away
you're
faster.
Too connected. You're too connected.
You're too attached to it.
Yeah, you're too attached.
You gotta disconnect to it and
let it breathe a bit.
Oh, that was beautiful. Nice.
He was like, let me write this down.
I like that one. Yeah, that was good.
I did it too.
What don't you say? You ever say something and be like,
I'll be with my friend. I'll be like, you want to put something in a collection plate? I'll be here all day.
Right. You know what I'm saying? This ain't free.
Exactly.
But yeah. And just as a last piece so we can wrap up.
Okay.
Because your time is just as important as mine. And so would you want to talk about working for the California Crusade? What is that like? To be a journalist and a newspaper writer and this and that.
So here's the thing. I started working at California Crusader newspaper in the year 2010.
Okay.
Really, it was funny because before I got that, I was just a self-proclaimed writer. I had nothing that said I was a writer. I hadn't wrote books yet. I hadn't done any of that yet, right? Mm-hmm. And I had 9 blogs. And I would write these essays and stuff. And so one day I decided to go to like a bank to open like a business account. I don't know what for. I hadn't had a business yet. I just knew that I was like, I'll just charge people to like post up my blog, right? That's how I'm thinking. So I meet this lady. Her name is Maisha Scoggins. And it was funny because we hit it off really good, and then she was like, "You look like you belong on the radio." Wow. She was like, she said, "I like your personality."
Yeah.
And the killer part is she had just met me that day, and I guess she could tell by the way my response was, because I was like, "Oh, okay." I was like, "That's really nice, right?" Yeah. And she was like, "Nah, I know you." She said, "You probably one of those that gotta have everything in order to start." She was like, "Nah, I'm gonna call you tonight, and you're gonna be on the radio." I was like, "Okay." She was like, "No, I'm for real." I was like, "Okay." And but I think she could tell that I really was like, whatever. And she did call that night.
Wow.
She was on a radio show called Sunset and Gumbo back in the day.
Look at that.
And she was like introducing me to her co-worker with the on radio. And I was like, okay, her co-host.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay. So we started it, and then it was like, did you ever think about being on radio? I was like, no. And I was like, but I did say if I ever wanted to be on the radio, I wanted to create a segment. And he said, okay, well, if you created a segment, what would you call it? And I would call it Until's Book of the Week, because my name is Until. And so Until's Book of the Week. And so he was like, okay, what would that be about? I said, I would just share a book a week, telling you the book that I came across, how much it is, what it's about, and who it's by.
That's beautiful.
And how much you could buy it for.
Yeah. And
so it was like, oh, okay. So I did it. And they loved it. So me and her ended up branching off and getting our own radio show for a while. Mm-hmm. And after that, they asked me to record, because I used to be a rapper, right?
Yeah.
They asked me to record like the intro for me and her's radio show. So I was like, I can still do that. That's cool. Yeah. Give me some beats. So I picked a beat. I wrote something, went in the booth, and it was good. But the guy who was doing the beats, he was like, wait a minute. Aren't you the one that do like Until's Book of the Week? And I was like, yes. And I said, you listen to that? Yeah. And he was like, yes, I thought my audience was just women. He was like, no, it's very interesting. He said, I know somebody who works at the California Crusader newspaper who would be interested in that. Mm-hmm. And I was like, okay. He was like, so I hit you an email at 12 o'clock p.m. And I was like, okay. You know, I don't care, right? I'm like, yeah, whatever. Yeah, these fluffy people. I'll be like, I don't believe you. You're not finna give me hyped up for this, right? So the next day I'm shopping. I get a ping on my phone, and it's an email from him at noon, like he said.
Straight like that.
Shout out to Wolfgang Amadeus, for real. Wolfgang Productions.
That is the most beautiful name.
I know, right? He's awesome. He's over there at KBLA, I think.
That's sweet.
And so, but he hit me up. And it was 12 o'clock noon, like he said, gave me the information, told me to hit the lady up. I did. And she, on his word, just gave me a column in her paper.
Just straight up.
And I called it Book of the Week, right? Wow. And so I wrote Books of the Week, and then I asked her, can I change it to make it synonymous with my radio segment? So I called it Until's Book of the Week column. So that's what it was. And then that's how California Crusader News came about. And I was like, she gave me creative license. Shout out to Vicky Stamone, and Thomas Bodie. They all gave me like creative direction to do what I wanted to do. Mm-hmm. So I went and got, just like you, I went and started approaching people that I found interesting that I liked. It wasn't necessarily celebrity. Yeah. It was like people that I found quite interesting, I was curious about and what they're doing. Yeah. Right? And that's exactly how it came about. And I have been writing the whole time.
Yeah, I got a segment like that on the podcast called A Minute of Your Time.
Oh, I love that name!
Yeah, it's called A Minute of Your Time. And it's like, I have it like in season 0. So it's like, it just pops up as like random episodes because I got season 1, season 2. And then season 0, I'll just add to it as much as I want. But people that I have these interactions with, I end up just asking them just a few questions, and it takes 2 minutes, 1 to 2 minutes to hear their response. And it makes them feel so good. And then they get to express and get asked questions that people don't usually ask them.
Oh,
yeah, so
nice.
That's something I've been working on.
I can't wait to hear that.
Yeah, it's sweet.
I love it.
And then if you scroll down, whatever you're looking at, it's called AMOYT.
Okay.
And then I put featuring the person's name, whoever.
Nice. Yeah, I love that. And that's what I do on my podcast.
And I can just upload them as quick as possible.
I love it. Yeah. And that's what Until's Book of the Week is. And between my podcast, it'll be like Until's Book of the Week. And it'll just share like certain.
That's sweet.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah. Oh, wow.
So if you want to close out with a caption of the day, or a quote of the day, I mean.
Oh.
Go ahead.
Dreams are meant to be lived by Until.
Wow.
And if you want to know anything about QS Simple Treasures and Greetings LLC, you can go to my website at untilnomore.net. And that's where you can click on the word Panoplies, which means a special collection. And you can see all of my books and my one of our, I guess our customer's favorite product is our Dreams Are Meant to Be Lived Oolong Tea.
Okay.
Comprising of strawberry, peppermint, and jasmine. So you guys will enjoy that. Thank you so much for having me.
No problem. Anytime.